Cam Rogers alongside Tom Downey here on NFL Daily. Okay, so Kirk Cousins is going to move along now. Of course, Vegas, being Vegas, they have come out with odds now for destinations for Kirk Cousins. Let's take a look here. We got the Browns at 1, Jets at 2, Broncos at 3, Bills at 4, followed by the Dolphins at 5. And then you have the Vikings at 6, Cardinals at 7, and then the Jaguars and Buccaneers T8 respectively. We have our own list here at Chat Sports, Tom, but Vegas, what do you think?
If I'm looking for a dark horse, I'm not trying to bet my money on the favorites. I might put some money down on Minnesota. I mean,
really?
I know that they like Teddy Bridgewater, but Bradford, Keenum, and Bridgewater are all free agents. They kind of have some pretty good cap space to play with. I wouldn't totally rule it out. I don't think Minnesota's the favorite, but I don't mind them as a dark horse pick. Okay. Outside that top 5, so to speak.
So that's where Vegas is at in terms of where Kirk Cousins could go. I came out with my list today. We have an article out by Mitchell Renz on chatsports.com. So let's count it down here. We're counting it down from 5 to 1 in terms of least likely to most likely within these 5 teams. We'll start off with the Buffalo Bills here. And Tyrod Taylor is under contract, but it seems as though the Bills are ready to move on from the Tyrod Taylor era, and we know Nathan Peterman isn't the guy, so it comes down to money, really.
Yeah, they don't seem to like Tyrod Taylor, and that is kind of the main issue for Buffalo. You mentioned it with the money. Because Kirk has made it very clear, and I don't blame him at all, he wants to get paid. Like, he knows that he holds all the chips right now. It is so rare for even a top 20 quarterback to hit the open market that when they do, all these teams just line up and say, cool, what do you want? All right, cool. Oh, they're offering you this? Cool, we'll add another $5 million. Like, he is going to be in such high demand because when is the next time even a quarterback of Kirk Cousins' level is going to be a true free agent? It's just
a rarity.
Peyton Manning and Kirk Cousins, like those are the guys who can hit the actual open market. Like these guys just don't hit free agency. That's why teams are willing to so overpay for just average quarterback play because the alternative is, well, you're stuck with guys like Blake Bortles.
Well, it's classic supply and demand, Tom. I mean, that's why you have every quarterback signing is like outdoing the other person, right? It was Joe Flacco, then it was Derek Carr, then it was Matt Stafford. And now Kirk Cousins is set up to be the highest paid player in NFL history. It's just the way it's going.
That's the market for you.
Yeah, exactly. So the Buffalo Bills, a potential option here for Kirk Cousins. They check in at number 5. Let's take a look at number 4 here. We'll stay in the AFC East. The New York Jets, no way they're going to sign Josh McCown to any long-term sort of deal. And you look at the roster there, not much to really look at in terms of the quarterback position. How about that Jeremy Bates connection, though? Worked under Shanahan from 2006 to 2008, Tom. Has that kind of Shanahan type of mentality in terms of his offensive scheme.
Cousins has spoke highly of Jeremy Bates in the past, so I think this actually makes quite a bit of sense. They have the money to afford Cousins. Now, they can't get into a full-on bidding war because there's another team we'll talk about here in a little bit, but I think the Jets make sense as an option, and getting a guy like Kirk Cousins could, even in theory, allow them to not fully give up on the Christian Hackenberg era, even though that era never got started and probably never will.
Bryce Petty, though.
But, like, I mean, Bryce Petty's even worse as far as I'm concerned. But with the Jets, they could look for a young quarterback in the draft. They do have other needs kind of throughout the roster, and I think it's going to be a question for their front office. Hey, do we want to invest gobs of money in this quarterback who, frankly, might not be good enough that we can win a Super Bowl with given our current roster construction? So I think that's going to be the main question for all of these teams. But I like the fit of Cousins and New York. Now, maybe it didn't end up being the best fit for them in terms of winning a Super Bowl, but would you rather have Josh McCown or Kirk Cousins? Like, ignore the money, it's obviously Kirk Cousins.
Albeit, McCown had a solid year.
He was fun, and then the Jets fired their OC because they're the Jets, and I didn't really get that.
So the Jets are there at number 4. Let's take a look at number 3 in our rankings for potential destinations for Kirk Cousins. This team with plenty of cap space, the Cleveland Browns. What do we think of this?
Well, they made a run at Alex Smith.
Yep.
What we were told is that the Browns, as they made with Jimmy Garoppolo, they made a good effort to try and get their quarterback, and the other team was like, partially, we don't want to send our quarterback to you because, well, we're not mean to our quarterback. And I kind of get the vibe
we love our quarterback.
Yeah, we don't want to, we're not going to burn the bridge with Alex Smith. The Chiefs and Reed are like, you know what? We're not going to trade him to you. Like, let's not do that. But as it comes for Cleveland, they have the one thing that no other team can offer relative to the Browns. All of the money.
Yeah.
Like the Browns can just say, all right, Kirk, what do you want? Go get the best offer out there. come back to us and we'll put on another $5 million,
exactly.
another $10 million.
Blank check.
That they can front load the contract. So if Kirk really wants to just get all of the money, and I will not blame him at all for that, and frankly the Browns aren't in that bad of shape anyway, hint, hint there. But with the Browns, it's all about the money for Kirk Cousins, and the issue is, well, that still hasn't helped them. They have all of these assets, all of this money, and they still haven't gotten the quarterback that they wanted. Maybe that changes with Kirk Cousins, but if I'm Kirk Cousins, I'm like, I can get really close money from somebody else, and it's not Cleveland. And I think, unfortunately for the Browns, that's a big selling point against them right now.
It'll take some time. If Kirk Cousins were to go to the Cleveland Browns, it would take some time for that team to start winning again. But it could be a best of both worlds situation, Tom, where he gets paid a lot and the Browns become contenders.
And just think if Kirk Cousins leads the Browns to the playoffs. First off,
he
is a legend forever in Cleveland.
Absolutely.
Like, he goes down 0-16 to playoffs, baby. Boom. Build that man a statue. If he gets him a playoff win, greatest quarterback in franchise history since they moved back to Cleveland. Like, easy. That's all it's going to take.
All right, so there are the Cleveland Browns at number 3. At number 2, in terms of most likely destinations for Kirk Cousins, we have the Arizona Cardinals, and really, we're going off the word of Steve Wilks, Tom. He's going to be active in free agency.
I'm sure it would help Larry Fitzgerald come back.
Yes.
And oh, I got Kirk. Okay, that's better than Blaine Gabbert and a bunch of other bums, which I think is a fair word.
Gabbert a free agent, Barkley a free agent as well.
Kirk, and then, of course, Carson Palmer retired as well. So they literally have nothing right now. They have no one signed up for under contract. Like, it is a complete restart at the quarterback spot. Arizona makes some sense. I don't know if they have the money in the end to get actively involved in a Kirk Cousins negotiation, but from a pure need perspective, I mean, it just makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, that's why we have the Cardinals there at number 2, and it really comes down to money. It comes down to need. It comes down to whether or not you want to be on a contending team, etc. The Cardinals, if Kirk Cousins were to go to the Big Toast here, he would make the Cardinals a contender in my eyes.
Well, so, if they stay healthy, too. Yes. That was the biggest issue for Arizona. All their guys got hurt.
And David Johnson coming back. That's kind of big.
Big boost.
All right, so there are the Cardinals there at number 2. Checking in at number 1, the Denver Broncos. So you know how active John Elway can be in free agency. Imagine if he went out and grabbed Kirk Cousins.
And there's a lot of stuff going on around this one. Colin Cowherd said on his radio show today that he was told the Broncos are close to a deal with Kirk Cousins and they would very likely sign him. Here's the issue with that one, and then we're going to get to our rumor segment here because we're giving this one 2 Goodell heads. Look, people are talking about this, Cam, but this would totally violate tampering rules. Like, the way the NFL works is NFL teams and pending free agents cannot negotiate if it's a different team than what they're currently signed to until March 12th. If there's any type of discussion before that, it's tampering, and we've seen guys like Jeremy Maclin and the Eagles get into issues as well on that one, or the Chiefs, Jeremy Maclin and the Chiefs. So if this were actually true, it would be tampering. Now I'll mention this. One Broncos executive told a local Broncos reporter that that's news to us that they've been discussing.
LOL.
But of course the executive's also going to say that because otherwise he's admitting to tampering.
True.
But we also know that, especially at the Combine, there's a lot of tampering going on. That's just kind of the underbelly of free agency. Teams and players talk through back channels enough to have the possibility to deny it, plausible deniability and all that. But to have it this level, it's really interesting, and I don't know if I want to believe it because I also don't know if I fully trust Mr. Cowherd.
Yeah, no offense to Colin Cowherd. I love him. Is he an NFL insider? I mean, he's not exactly
not really
well tied in like a Schefter or Rappaport.
Not really. I mean, if Schefter tweeted this, oh man, that would be really bad for
Yes, exactly. All right, so that is a rumor we're tracking with the Denver Broncos. Let's recap the most likely destinations for Kirk Cousins. The Denver Broncos, the Arizona Cardinals, the Cleveland Browns with the second most cap space for 2018, the New York Jets, and the Buffalo Bills.